Good evening, lords and ladies. DJ CraigE here with the Progeny Behind the Fang podcast. Joining me as always, my amazing wife, Ming Xiao, Neopolitan Wu. And we're coming at you live from the Theater of Velvet Shadows.
That's right, everyone. Happy Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, it's Friday the 13th, everybody. And we're here with a very special Cinema Bite episode. We're going to rank the Friday the 13th series from best to worst, all 12 movies. Oh yeah.
From toe to head.
Yes. All right, well, let's jump right into it.
Jason was my son, and today is his birthday.
And starting off our list at number one of the classic slasher films of all time, Friday the 13th, 1980. Follows a group of young teenage camp counselors who are murdered one by an unknown killer while they're attempting to reopen an abandoned summer camp with a tragic past.
Tom Kid.
At least I'm not afraid of ghosts.
You gotta check this film out. It is a classic and rated the very best film of the entire series. And wait till you see the ending. You don't want to miss this.
Okay, so number 2, Friday the 13th, part 6, Jason Lives, 1986. Directed by Tom McLaughlin. Friday the 13th follows Tommy Jarvis, who accidentally resurrects the infamous killer Jason Voorhees while trying to cremate his body. Now, how often does that happen, folks? Quite a bit.
You didn't have to come, Haas. This is between me and Jason.
Jason returns to Crystal Lake, now it's called Forest Green, and embarks on another killing spree. Surprise, right? Tommy must confront his fears and find a way to stop Jason once and for all, so that we don't have another 12 sequels. Right, Craig?
Most definitely. But everybody loves the sequel.
Oh, sure.
And moving on to number 3, Freddy Vs Jason. And in this epic showdown of two serial killer icons, they face off as Freddy Krueger orchestrates a new killing spree on Elm Street using Jason, much like a puppet.
I had to search the bowels of hell, but I found someone who'll make 'em remember. He may get the blood, but I'll get the glory.
However, when Jason doesn't stop killing and keeps taking all Freddy's victims, it's time to put this dog to sleep.
Like a really good movie.
Make them remember me, Jason. Make them remember what fear tastes like!
Why did Jason go to school? Because he wanted to be a cut above the rest. Don't throw any eggs or tomatoes at our house. It takes a long time to clean it up. So, number 4, Friday the 13th, part. Yeah, some Roman numerals. I don't know. Craig, help me. 7. Okay. The New Blood, 1988, directed by John Carl Bouchier. Okay. Craig, why you give me all the hard ones?
Well, I just like to hear you say it.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks for that. So we follow Tina Shepard, a telekinetic teenager who accidentally resurrects Jason This installment is often described as Jason versus Carrie due to Tina's supernatural abilities. So she resurrects Jason Voorhees from his watery grave at Crystal Lake, and Tina, who is struggling with the trauma of her father's death, they always got to have something going on, right? Must now use her powers to stop Jason's killing spree. Again. So we don't have 12 sequels.
Well, and that is a must-see flick for sure. And moving on to number 5, folks, we have Friday the 13th Part 2, directed by Steve Miner. In this epic sequel to the original, it joins a bunch of counselors being trained on how to be camp counselors, and they're warned and told the story of Jason Voorhees, a boy who drowned at the camp earlier and whose mother, in a murderous rage, killed the group of counselors who were responsible. And no one really takes it serious until they realize Jason is now alive and begins gruesomely killing everybody, which is how actually the whole series kept going. This is Jason's first movie.
The boy. Is he dead too?
Who?
The boy, Jason.
Tell you, that guy, he's something else. All right, what do you call Jason Voorhees with a broken machete, Craig?
What's that?
A slasher in need of a sharpener.
I would say so.
Yeah, aren't these to die for, though, right? Number 6, Friday the 13th, 2009. See, at this point, they ran out of names, to call the sequels. So now it's Friday the 13th.
Yep, now it's just a remake.
It's just a remake. Okay, so this one is directed by Marcus Nispel, and it's a reboot of the classic horror franchise. So the film follows Clay Miller, played by Jared, thanks for this, Craig, Padalecki. Yeah, so as he searches for his missing sister, Whitney, who is captured by Jason Voorhees while camping near Crystal Lake. The movie combines elements from the first 4 films in the series, reimagining Jason as a lean, quick killer with a tragic backstory. Is this where he starts to become a hero? Just saying.
Well, in a lot of people's eyes, he is definitely an icon.
This film was released on February 13th of 2009, and despite receiving mixed reviews, it grossed $92.7 million at the box office.
Oh, no doubt. By that time, it was well established as one of the best slasher series of all time. Moving on to number 7, we have Friday the 13th, the final chapter, done in 1984. And a carefree lakeside vacation is interrupted by the reemergence of serial killer Jason Voorhees. He escapes from a morgue, leaving a trail of bodies in his wake, and travels all the way back to Crystal Lake, where a group of friends are camping. In the teens, they meet some local, Tommy, who is actually a very young Corey Feldman, and they all get together to take care of Jason. If you engage in any drunken debauchery, any premarital sex, or any smoking of some weed, you might just want to watch your back at Camp Crystal Lake.
I guess we definitely would never vacation there, Craig.
You might have to keep her...
Yes. We're going to Hawaii instead, folks.
No doubt.
So, anytime they say the final chapter, you can be assured, rest assured, folks, there's at least 13 more coming your way. So, Craig, why did Jason Voorhees start a band?
Ooh, I gotta hear this one. Why is that?
Because he wanted to make killer music.
Well, me too.
I know, right? Next is number 8. This is your favorite version. Craig, this is Jason X.
Ooh, a great film.
Yeah. So this
Very
is
underrated, actually.
Oh, yeah? So this is 2001, directed by Jim Isaac. It's the 10th installment in the Friday the 13th franchise. The film takes a sci-fi twist with Jason Voorhees being cryogenically frozen in the early 21st century and then discovered and revived in the year 2455. He awakens on a spaceship and begins his killing spree, no doubt, surprise, among the crew and students on board. The movie is known for its unique setting and the transformation of Jason into a cyborg. And now I've heard it all. Often referred to as Uber Jason, quote unquote. Despite its creative premise, the film received mixed reviews and underperformed at the box office. Like I said, Craig, this is your favorite.
I did really enjoy it. It was just quite a really cool spin-off, and I like the futuristic part of it, so check it out.
Not a lot of cyborg serial killers out there. That's, I gotta say.
We're going to move on now to number 9. Oh, yeah. Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. From 1985. Years after Tommy Jarvis murdered hockey mask serial killer Jason Voorhees, he resides in a mental hospital and struggles with the trauma of the experience. He moves into an isolated halfway house, and he has nightmares of Jason's return. And soon, one of his patients is killed, and the body count begins to grow, and he begins to question his sanity even, and wonder if Jason has risen from the dead, but is determined to find the killer's identity, and will need to survive. You gotta see this one.
Yep. Ain't like all the rest. Okay, so, Craig, why did Jason Voorhees become a gardener?
And why's that?
Because he loves cutting hedges. I was just about to say, why did Jason cross the road to get to the other side? I made that up myself, folks. So, number 10, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. I mean, we have another final Friday coming up after this, too. So, see what I said? Final chapter, final Friday. It does linger on. This one was made in 1993 and it's directed by Adam Marcus. It's the 9th installment in the Friday the 13th franchise. The film follows Jason Voorhees, whose spirit possesses various people to continue his killings after his physical body is destroyed by an FBI task force. I mean, this kind of stuff happens every day. I know. To resurrect himself, Jason must find and possess a member of his bloodline. Hey, didn't that happen with Michael Myers one time too? This one time at band camp. But he can also be permanently killed by one of his surviving relatives using a magical dagger. I swear that happened with Michael Myers too. And Chucky.
I don't.
So, yeah, it did. So anyway, this installment is notable for its supernatural elements and the absence of Jason as a physical character for most of the film. Despite its unique approach, another unique approach, the film received mixed reviews and is considered one of the lower performing entries in the series.
Yeah, it was a great film. It was definitely different from the others, but it didn't really perform as well as it was all hyped up to be. And the cover art, as you can see, is awesome. So, and moving on now to number 11, Friday the 13th, Part 7, Jason Takes Manhattan. When Jason is resting in Camp Crystal Lake, he's accidentally awakened from a lightning bolt and ends up stalking a ship filled with graduated high school students headed to Manhattan for a graduated party. It is an epic film, actually. It is rated not so good, but it was actually very well done, and it was pretty cool to see Jason walking through Times Square. Gotta admit, I enjoyed it.
Okay, so, Craig, what do you call Jason Voorhees with a broken machete?
What is that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. The same joke as before. A slasher in need of a sharpener.
I was going to say, does he need a sharpener?
Yes. I'll see you're catching on. Now, number 12, the third installment in the Friday the 13th series, picks up on the day after the carnage with a homicidal maniac, Jason Voorhees, Richard Brooker, stealing some clothes and killing a local store owner. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Chris, Dana Kimmel, and her sometimes boyfriend, we all got one of those people, Paul Kratka, are hosting a group of teenage friends at Chris's lake house. Despite a run-in with a local biker gang, they enjoy an amicable weekend together. Who writes this stuff, for real? That is until Jason begins knocking off kids and bikers alike. The release date was August 20th. Of course, this movie came out in Canada in 1982.
Of course. And
Yeah.
believe it or not, it came out with these really cool 3D glasses. Y'all remember those ones.
I can just see you sitting there, Craig, with your little glasses on and your popcorn. Mm-hmm.
You know it.
This movie raked in $36.7 million at the box office.
Wow, and still ranked the lowest on the list, believe it or not, folks. So,
I'd be happy with 36.7 million.
Well, in those years as well, that was quite a bit. So, that's it, folks. That is our amazing Friday the 13th list, ranked from best to worst. We really hope you enjoy this. We had to release it on Friday the 13th because, you know, we're cool like that.
Mm-hmm. And before we go, Craig, why don't you ever see Jason Voorhees at the beach?
Why is that?
Because he's afraid of the sand trap.
Well, as a golfer, me too.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All right. Well, we hope we've just made your Friday the 13th, folks.
Amen.
And y'all come back now, you hear? Happy fall.
It's fall, y'all. Aren't you supposed to say that?
It's fall, y'all.
Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. Why not grab a Friday the 13th flick, throw it in the DVD player, and have a scary evening.